Hi guys, it's Jules here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if it's your first time visiting, well, welcome. Today I'm going to do another how to crochet video, and we're going to be visiting increase, decrease and invisible decrease, and the reasons why you would choose an invisible decrease over an ordinary decrease. If you do a lot of amigurumi like I do, if you do normal decreases on a crucial part of the doll, i.e. the face or something like that, well, you can see the decreases. They're very obvious. If you do an invisible decrease, they're less obvious. So here we are, we've got some yarn, we've got a pair of scissors and we've got a hook and we've got a contrast running yarn, okay, stitch marker. So if you've not already had a look at my magic circle video, the link will be down below. But I'll just do a recap. You need a tail about 8 inches long. You use your tension finger, so wrap it round your little pinky finger once, and then you bring it up and over your second finger and your index finger twice. It's all coming flooding back now, isn't it? Hook under the first loop, over the second loop, and draw a loop up. And then you pick your working yarn up and pass it through the loop, okay? And then you take your fingers out of your magic circle, and I just control it with this finger. It's the only finger you've got spare actually. Then we're going to go into the magic circle, pick up the working yarn, pick up the working yarn again and through both loops, and then you've made the V, the obvious V that you've just done a single crochet. So we're going to do 6 of those single crochets, and we're going to be working in a circle for a little while, and we're going to be increasing into that circle to make your circle bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on to your work, pull your tail, close the hole. There we go. So there's your first round done. This is where your contrast running yarn comes in. You put it in between the hook and the working yarn like this, okay? And you'll see it more obviously as I go on. Now then, we're going to do increases, and what we're going to do, we're going to increase into each stitch, and we're going to do 2 stitches into each stitch, which is basically what an increase is. So put your hook through both loops on top of the V, you pick up your working yarn and bring it through, and then you've got 2 loops on your hook, pick up your working yarn and through. So that's 1 single crochet, and then we're going to go into the same stitch and do another one. So we've done 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and we're going to go all the way around doing that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you've done 2 stitches into every suture, into every stitch, that means you had 6 in the first round, so you should have 12 now. So we'll just do a quick check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wonderful. Now then, we're going to, you only ever move this top tail. If it's at the back, at the end of the row, you bring it forward. If it's forward at the end of the row, you take it back. So in this instance, it's at the back, so you're going to bring it forward. Okay? It'll come evident soon. Right, so now we have 12 stitches. I wish I'd stop calling them sutures. Stitches. You can tell I used to be a theatre nurse, can't you? So we've got 1 loop on the hook, and now we're going to increase once every 2 stitches. When you're trying to make a circle, if you increased in every stitch all the time, it would just get so big and cumbersome and thick, and you wouldn't get proper shape. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then we're going to go into the next stitch and do an increase. So that's 2 single crochets, okay? And then do this all the way to the end. 1 single crochet, oops, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and we'll do that all the way around, and you'll have done that then a total of 6 times. So that means we had 12 stitches in the last round. So after we've finished here, we should have 18 stitches. Here's the last pair just coming up. There we go. Have another count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wonderful. Love it when a plan comes together. Now then, so my running tail is at the front, so we're going to take it up between the hook and the working yarn, okay? And now you can see, look, that there's a little running stitch appearing, and as you do more and more and make your circle bigger and bigger, this running stitch will be evident. So if we increased in every stitch in the first row, and then we've increased in every alternate stitch in the second row, in this next row we're going to do 2 single crochets, and then we're going to increase. So we're going to do that 6 times again. So 1, 2, increase, 1, 2, increase, and I'll see you at the end of this row. There we are, gone all the way around again. So if we had 6, then we had 12, then we had 18. If we've done another 6 increases, we should now have 24. Excuse me, got a frog. So we'll go back and we'll have a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24. And you can see that the circle is getting bigger and bigger. If we went on and on and on, we'd just end up with a huge big circle. But what we're going to do now, we're going to decrease and bring the circle back in on itself. And you do this if you were doing, say, a hand or a foot, or if you're starting to do the head of an amigurumi figure, or the body. If you're going to do the head or a body, you would do a few rows of no increases, but just for today's video, I'm just going to start decreasing now. So we'll bring the back yarn forward again. Now can you see the running stitch there? Look. And then I'm just going to do a couple of stitches to get away from that yarn. And then I'm going to show you how to decrease. So this is a normal decrease. So your V there, your 2 loops, look, and these are the 2 stitches that we want to make into one. So what you will do, you'll go through those 2 stitches, pick up a loop, then you've got 2 loops on the hook, and then you, without doing anything else, you go through the next 2 loops, pick up your working yarn again, and then you've got 3 loops on your hook. Then you pick up your working yarn and go through all 3. Then you can see, look, those 2 stitches have now become 1. So we'll do a couple of stitches out the way so that we don't get you muddled up, and we'll do another one. So through both loops, pick up your working yarn, through the next 2 loops, pick up your working yarn, pick up your working yarn through all 3. Now can you see that they're now starting to, it's curving the flat circle up a little bit. We'll carry on, we'll do 2 stitches, and then we'll do through both loops, pick up your working yarn, through both loops, pick up your working yarn again, 3 stitches on your hook, pick up the working yarn through all 3 stitches. Now, as you can see, look, this is quite visible. And if you could imagine, if you're doing that on a little dolly's face, you would see these stitches. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to pull that back down, and I'm going to show you how to do an invisible decrease, which will cut down on that obvious bulky decrease. So I've done a couple of stitches out of the way. Now, we went through both loops for a normal decrease, and when we went through both loops we picked up the working yarn, if you remember. This time we're just going to use these front loops here, and we're not going to pick up the working yarn until the end. So we're going to go through the first loop, through the second loop, and now is where we're going to pick up the working yarn, but we're not going to just pull it through all 3 sutures. We're going to go stitches. We're going to go through the first 2 first, pick up your working yarn again, and through the second 2. And you've still done a decrease. You've got rid of 2 stitches and you've only got 1. But if you notice, it looks completely different. It's not as bulky as the other one was. So we'll do a couple of stitches again, and we'll do it again. Through the first loop, front loop, through the second front loop, you've got 3 stitches on your hook. You pick up your working yarn through the first 2 stitches, through the last 2 stitches. There you go. And actually it's like a little V look, so this is why it's not as obvious when you're doing an invisible decrease, because it's just basically like all the other stitches. 2 more single crochets again, and through the first loop, through the second loop, working yarn through the first 2 loops and through the final 2 loops. Okay. There we go. Through the first loop, pick up the stitch, through the second loop, pick up the stitch, pick up the working yarn, through 2 loops, pick up the working yarn, through 2 loops. So you can see there, look, that really the invisible decrease are far less obvious than the ordinary decreases. Hope that's helped a little bit. Watch out for my other YouTube videos on how to crochet. I'll try and visit some more complicated stitches in the future, because a lot of you crocheters on YouTube are already very good crocheters. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming by, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, bye.